Your mind has a hidden operating system that's designed to keep you exactly where you are right now. Every time you try to level up, it pulls you back down. It's not weakness. It's not lack of discipline. It's neuroscience. And if you don't understand how it works, you'll stay trapped forever. What if your success has an expiration date? Here's something nobody tells you. Your brain has a comfort zone setting. And it's not about laziness or fear of hard work. It's way deeper than that. Think about the last time you made real progress. Maybe you started eating clean, hit the gym consistently, built momentum in your career, felt like you were finally becoming the person you always knew you could be. And then what happened? You crashed hard. You told yourself it was bad timing, stress, life getting in the way. But here's the truth nobody wants to face. Your brain sabotaged you on purpose. It's called the self-concept thermostat, and it's one of the most powerful forces controlling your life right now. Basically, your mind has an internal image of who you are. And whenever you start acting outside that image, even if it's in a positive direction, your brain treats it like a threat. Because to your nervous system, change equals danger. Doesn't matter if it's good change. Change means unpredictable, and unpredictable means survival risk. So what does your brain do? It creates resistance. Suddenly, you're exhausted, overwhelmed. You lose motivation. You make one small mistake that spirals into total collapse, and you end up right back where you started. But here's what most people miss. This isn't a character flaw. It's programming, and just like any program, it can be rewritten. The problem is, most self-help advice completely ignores this. They tell you to just push through or stay motivated, but you can't willpower your way past neuroscience. You need a different strategy, and that strategy starts with understanding why your brain is so committed to keeping you stuck in the first place. See, your self-concept was built over years. Every experience, every failure, every limiting belief, they all reinforced who you think you are. And now that identity is locked in, it's your brain's default setting. So when you try to change, you're not just fighting bad habits, you're fighting your own sense of self. But here's where it gets really interesting. Most people spend their entire lives never realizing they're operating from an outdated version of themselves. They keep trying to upgrade their behavior while running on old software, and that's exactly why they keep failing. So here's the real question. Are you ready to update your operating system? Or are you going to keep crashing every time you try to level up? Why you keep resetting to zero? Let's talk about what's actually happening in your brain when you self-sabotage. There's a concept in psychology called identity resilience. Sounds positive, right? But here's the twisted part. Your brain is resilient about keeping you exactly who you've always been. Even if that version of you is miserable, your nervous system has spent years mapping out what normal feels like. And it defends that normal like it's a matter of life and death. A study from University College London found that it takes an average of 66 days to form a new habit. But here's what they don't tell you. It takes way longer to change your identity. Because habits are just behaviors. Identity is who you believe you are at your core. So you can force yourself to go to the gym for 66 days. But if you still see yourself as someone who's out of shape, the second you hit a stressful week, you're done. You will quit. Because your behavior doesn't match your identity. This is why people lose weight and gain it back. Why they get promoted and then self-sabotage. Why they finally meet someone healthy and then push them away. They change their actions, but they never change their self-concept. Only here's the thing most people never realize. Your self-concept isn't real. It's just a story you've been telling yourself for so long that it feels like truth. You think you're bad with money because you've been broke before. You think you're not a relationship person because past relationships failed. You think you're just not disciplined because you've quit things in the past. But none of that is who you are. It's just patterns you've repeated. And patterns can be interrupted. The real breakthrough happens when you stop trying to become someone new and start recognizing that the you think you are is just outdated programming. You're not broken. You're not weak. You're not fundamentally flawed. You're just running old code. And the moment you see that, really see it, everything changes. Because now, you're not fighting yourself anymore. You're just debugging the system. But most people never get here. They stay stuck in the loop, blaming themselves, thinking they just need to try harder, when really, they just need to rewrite the script. So tell me, what's the story you've been telling yourself about who you are? And is it actually true? Or just familiar? How to rewrite your internal code. Alright, here's where we get practical. Because understanding the problem is useless if you don't know how to fix it. The key to breaking the cycle isn't motivation. Motivation fades. The key is identity-level reprogramming, and it happens in 3 stages. Stage 1. Pattern interruption. Every self-sabotage follows a predictable sequence. Trigger: emotional reaction, destructive behavior, shame, repeat. You feel stressed. You eat junk food. You feel guilty. You eat more junk food because now you're stressed and guilty. Rinse and repeat. But here's the hack. You don't need to eliminate the trigger. You just need to change what happens after it. Next time you feel that stress, do literally anything different. Take a cold shower. Call a friend. Do 10 push-ups. Doesn't matter what it is. Just break the pattern. Because once you prove to your brain that the old sequence isn't automatic anymore, you create space for something new. Stage 2. Micro-commitments. This is where most people fail. They try to overhaul their entire life overnight, and their brain freaks out and pulls them back. Instead, you need changes so small that your nervous system doesn't even register them as threats. Wake up 1 minute earlier. Write 1 sentence in a journal. Drink 1 glass of water before coffee. Sounds insignificant, right? That's the point. Because consistency beats intensity every single time. A Stanford study on behavior change found that people who focused on tiny habits had an 80% success rate, while those who tried dramatic changes had less than 10%. Only here's what makes this really work. Each micro-commitment isn't about the action itself. It's about proving to yourself that you're someone who follows through. You're not just drinking water. You're becoming someone who keeps promises to themselves. Stage 3. Identity reinforcement. Every day, you need to feed your brain evidence of who you're becoming. Not through affirmations. Those don't work if you don't believe them. But through tiny actions that align with your new identity. Want to be someone who's healthy? Make 1 healthy choice today. That's it. 1. Want to be someone who's disciplined? Do 1 small thing you said you'd do, no matter how minor. Your brain learns through repetition, not intensity. So stop trying to transform overnight. Just show up as the new version of you in the smallest possible way. Single day, quick challenge. What's 1 micro habit you could start today that would prove to yourself you're already changing? Drop a comment. What's the pattern you're going to interrupt first? The truth about permanent change. Here's the hard truth. Most people will watch this video, feel inspired for 48 hours, and then go right back to their old patterns, not because they're weak, but because they're trying to change from the same level of consciousness that created the problem in the first place. Real transformation isn't about adding more. It's about removing what's false. You don't need to become someone extraordinary. You need to stop pretending to be someone you're not. For years, maybe decades, you've been operating from a survival identity, a version of yourself that was built to protect you, to keep you safe, to help you fit in. But that identity is a cage now, and the only way out is to question everything you think you know about who you are. Ask yourself, how many of your beliefs are actually yours? How many fears did you inherit? How many limitations did you accept without questioning them? Because here's the thing, the moment you realize your identity is just a construct, something you built, not something you were born with, you gain the power to rebuild it. And that's when everything shifts. But most people will never do this. They'll keep blaming external circumstances, waiting for the right time, hoping things will just magically get better. But you're different. You made it to the end of this video. That alone proves something. So here's what happens next. You have a choice. You can close this video and go back to the old program. Let the thermostat reset. You keep the familiar patterns running, or you can make 1 tiny, different choice today. Just 1, and then another tomorrow, and another the day after. And slowly, almost invisibly, you'll rewire the system. Until one day, you look back and realize, You never reset to zero again. Because zero doesn't exist anymore. You're somewhere completely new now. And from here, there's no going back. Final word, reprogram. Comment below. What's the biggest insight you're taking from this? What's the one thing you're going to do differently starting right now? If this hit different, leave a like. If someone you know needs to hear this, share it. And subscribe for more real talk about mindset, psychology, and breaking free from mental programming. See you in the next one. And remember, the shift has already started. Disclaimer: this content is for educational and reflective purposes only. It does not replace professional mental health support or therapy. If you're struggling with mental health issues, please seek help from a licensed professional.